Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video. This one is going to be on Hearthstone, and we're going to be looking at the new expansion which is coming out for Hearthstone in April, and it is called Blackrock Mountain. Actually no, I think it's called Molten Core, isn't it? No, Blackrock Mountain. Okay, yeah, I was making sure. There's a lot of molten black rock lava stuff that's going on with this expansion. But we're gonna go over the 3 new cards that they've kind of teased us with, and we're gonna analyze and see how good they are or how good they're not. I just wanted to make this video because I like Hearthstone. I play it by myself, every once in a while. Basically, I just wait 3 days, I get my quest, I jump on, and I play it. It's cool to pass time with, but I haven't put any real money because I don't have a lot of money to spare. I haven't put any money into the game, and I haven't put a whole lot of time into the game. I play it continuously, but not religiously. But I like it. The game is fun. It's good to pass time with. There is a competitive scene, so I mean, there are a lot of people that play it and really love the game. So, anyway, we're gonna go over some of the cards right now, and I'm gonna skip over this. Basically, if you go to the launcher, if you have Hearthstone, if you go to the launcher, you'll be able to click on one of the banner ads, and it'll take you to this, so you can read up on everything. But it's just going over telling you like what Blackrock Mountain is in World of Warcraft, so you guys can read that yourself. But this is these are the cards, and the first card is called Flame Waker. This card, guys, is phenomenal, and it is going to be an unbelievable card in the game. I almost hesitate to say it because there's no card that belongs in 100% of decks, but this is a card that you're going to see in almost every mage deck from here on out. It's just good. It synergizes so well with so many different mage decks because mage decks specialize in the spells. That's what you see a lot of mage decks do. If you have an ice mage, you're going to want this card in it because it synergizes really well with spells and because it's not very expensive to get out in the field. If you have a mech mage, you're going to want this because if you have spare parts, which most mech mages do, they get at least 2 to 4 spare parts, then this card is going to be good for that. If you have a mixed mage kind of deck where you have like spells and monsters, you're going to want this because it's a mana efficient card that synergizes really well with spells, especially 1 mana cost spells. This card is good in almost in every stage of the game. As an early game card, it offers 2/4 for 3, so you can get it out on turn 3 and it'll be able to survive and still deal decent damage. It should be able to trade a little bit, or you can wait and coin it out on turn 2, in which it'll be pretty solid. I wouldn't suggest doing that. It's weakest in the early game, I think, because you're not going to be able to utilize its special effects, which, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go over the stats. The stats are 3 mana for 2 attack and 4 defense. So, it's, the mana exchange is already 2 for 1. It is a 6 for 3. 2 attack, 4 life, that's 6 stats for 3 mana. That's good. The special effect, though, is what makes it phenomenal. After you cast a spell, deal 2 damage, randomly split among all enemies. This is really good, guys. This is 2 damage for free that goes to the enemy side of the board. It isn't like the Mad Bombers or the Matter Bombers, which just throw shit everywhere and can potentially wreck your day and ruin your side of the board or throw 6 explosive barrels in your eye. It attacks specifically the enemy. This would be an unbelievable card if it specifically attacked like enemy minions. But anyway, no, actually it's better like this. It attacks all enemies, so that means it'll attack anyone on the enemy side of the field. Your minions will be safe. That is really good. It really shines in the mid game, I think, because it's cheap enough that you can play it for 3, and then you can cast any spells that you want, and it'll synergize with every spell that you play. If you put this in a mech mage deck and you play spare parts, you're now going to do 2 additional damage to the enemy side of the field along with your spare part. You play Arcane Explosion, you're going to do 1 damage to everyone on the enemy side of the field, on top of the fact that you're going to do an additional 2 damage split to the enemies as well. You play Arcane Missiles, your Arcane Missile, instead of doing 3 damage, is basically going to do 5 damage because it's the same thing as Arcane Missile. So if you play multiple 1-drop mana 1-drop spells, man, you're gonna just deal like there's just a crap ton of additional damage for free. There's not going to be any risk to you, and you can do this as soon as you play it. So like on turn 6, you play this for 3, and then you have 3 mana. You can play, Frostbolt and do 2 additional damage, or you can play 3 spare parts and you can do 6 additional damage, or you can play a Fireball and you can do 2 additional damage. So you can kill something and then potentially kill 2 other things, or just do 2 damage to face. It's just good. It's really, really good. It is a solid card. It is mana efficient. Its special effect is phenomenal, and it's a rare, so you can have 2 of them in your deck. If you like playing Mage, you should have 2 of these in your deck. Honestly, I can't really think of a situation, unless you're playing a Mage in which you have like literally no spells, or like 2 or 1 spells or something. It's like, this isn't going to be a very good card in Arena. I think, because in Arena it's usually kind of hard to get spells, because you can get a lot of spells, but you're not necessarily going to. So it could be a good card in Arena if you already have several spells. If not, then you're not going to want to risk it. But in constructed deck, like, this is going to be phenomenal. So really good, really solid card. Next up, we have Core Rager. Core Rager is actually my personal favorite of the mix. I don't think that it's not as good, I think, as Flame Waker, because it's not as dependable as Flame Waker is. But this is a hunter-specific card, and it has a very interesting effect of, if your hand is empty, gain +3/+3. This is the opposite of Handlock, and I hope to God they do more cards that are like this, that have special effects if your hand is empty. That would be so damn cool to have a Void Hand, like, hunter deck. And Void Hand is something that I came up with myself. I am trying to coin it, spread it throughout the internet, because I think it'd be so cool if this actually became a thing. I haven't heard it from anyone else. I came up with it myself, so I hope that other people start using the term. Anyway, the point is, this card is a 4/4 for 4, so again, it's 2-1. It's very mana efficient. It's really good. It's a solid mid-game card. It's like Misha, basically, for 1 more mana, but it doesn't have taunt. However, this is going to be really good in any aggro hunter. So you're going to see aggro hunter a lot more, even though you already probably saw it quite often. You're going to see it even more, because this is going to be, the thing about aggro decks is it's really easy to empty your hand and get all of your low-cost minions out on the field. Now, doing that will not be a bad thing. Now you're going to want to do that. You're also going, and since draw power is a big thing, what you're going to want to do is, like, it's going to make things like Loot Hoarder more desirable, because you'll be able to play your Loot Hoarder and you won't immediately draw a card. So this thing, if you empty your hand and then play this, instead of getting a 4/4, you're now going to get a 7/7 for 4. It's going to be really good in aggro decks where you want to be mana efficient. You want to use a lot of your mana to get a lot of cards on the field. That's how aggro decks work, generally speaking. Get as much on the field for as low cost as you possibly can, so that you can attack the shit out of things, preferably the face. This is going to be really good, because now if you empty your hand, you're going to be able to have a 7/7, so it's not going to be just a negative thing like, oh, my hand's empty, I got nothing else I can do. Now it's going to be, oh good, my hand is going to be empty after I lay Core Rager. That means that this thing is going to be beast mode. Hell yeah, I have a 7/7 for 4. It's going to be really good. And again, I really hope that they do more of this, like, hand is empty, special benefit stuff, because it'd be such an interesting thing to see this in the game from now on. I'd really love it, guys. I would really, really love it. So that's it for Core Rager. Generally speaking, he's a rare, so you're going to be able to have 2 of him. He's going to be pretty much a must-have in aggro decks. He's going to be pretty solid in most other decks too. And again, like I was talking about before, draw power is something that you usually want if you have an aggro deck, because you want to get more minions out, and you're going to be able to empty your hand fairly easily. So with this being a part of it, basically you're going to want minions that you're probably going to want, like, ways to draw cards that aren't spells, that more like Loot Hoarder and that kind of thing, where it doesn't immediately draw a card for you. It draws a card, like, after it dies. Although it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool to be able to empty your hand and then boom, you now have a 7/7 beast. I like it. I like the mechanic of it. I hope this is a sign of things to come, because good God, that would be so fun. But next up is the weakest of the 3 cards that we have seen early, the Imp Gang Boss. It's a solid card. It's a 2/4 for 3. Whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 1/1 Imp. It doesn't damage itself like Imp Master does at the end of a turn, such as when it takes damage. This card it's okay. It's a balanced card. It's definitely an early game card because it costs 3 mana, so you can get it out on turn 2 with the coin or turn 3. And because it's going to be harder to get rid of it without doing like damage, so like a direct execution, if you damage it, you're going to get an Imp, so it's usually going to trade. Now, mid game and late game, this thing is going to fall off really hard because it's really easy to kill a 4 health minion. Like that's not difficult to do whatsoever. So like it really falls off hard in the late game. Mid game, it's still gonna be kind of relevant, but not super relevant. It's definitely a card where the earlier you can get it out, the better. Because the 1/1 imps aren't phenomenal. They're okay, but they're not phenomenal. This thing will be a lot better in Arena, I believe. That's about it. There's not really a lot to say about the Imp Gang Boss. He's going to be interesting. Whenever he takes damage, summon a 1/1 Imp. There's going to be like specific cards that you can play that are going to be helpful. So if you do, like, for instance, you play this thing and then you attack with it and you've dealt 2 damage, and let's say this thing is still alive. So you've dealt 2 damage and you've summoned an Imp, and this thing's still alive. You can play like a Hellfire, and your other Imp is gonna die, yes, but you'll be able to damage your enemy team, and your Imp Boss will die, but it'll also summon a 1/1 Imp, so you won't be like completely naked on the field. You'll be able to do a few things like that. You'll be able to, like, if this thing's already on the field, you'll be able to play what's his name? Dread Infernal, deal 1 damage to him, and then he'll summon an Imp. You can do a couple little things like that, but the Dread Infernal, again, that's a late game card, and the Imp Gang Boss is not very relevant late game, so probably not going to be able to do that very often, if ever. That's why I say it's the weakest. It's still a solid card because it's still mana efficient, and it's still going to be good in the early game, but it's not amazing. Like, the other 2 cards are amazing, this one's not, so that's about it. But that's it, guys. Those are the 3 cards. They're really interesting. Flame Waker is going to be really, really cool. Also, another thing I forgot to mention, if you Unstable Portal this, it'll be 0. It'll cost 0. Because Unstable Portal makes things cost 3 mana less. That would make that even more powerful. If you get lucky enough to Unstable Portal this monster, good God, save it. Save it for when you have multiple spells to cast at the same time, because then you can play that thing for 0 and you can do a shit ton of damage just for free. Really cool. So that's going to be a really, really strong card for mages. Core Rager offers us some really interesting new mechanics that I hope they play a lot on, and it's going to be pretty good for aggro hunters. It's going to be pretty solid for aggro hunters. Generally speaking, it's just a solid mid-game card regardless. And Imp Gang Boss is a decent card. It's good early game for Warlocks, but it's nothing phenomenal. That's about it. We've got the 3 class specific cards right now. We've still got 4 more classes that are unaccounted for. We still need Rogue. We still need Druid. We still need Shaman, and we still need Paladin. Oh, and Priest. Actually 5. I'm sorry. Is it 5? There are 9 classes, aren't there? Or are there 8 classes? Whatever. Anyway, point is, going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to a lot of the other class specific cards, and I'm looking forward to the other cards that are just going to be part of the set. It's going to be cool. Right now, this is a really strong opening, and if you get these cards early, they're not going to be nerfed for a long time, so they're going to be really solid for a long time. Start saving up your gold now, because the set comes in April. That's when the first one's going to drop, and it's going to be cool. It's probably going to be 600 gold if it does, like Noxramas did. So save your gold now. When April shows up, you'll be able to purchase the first leg, and you'll be able to jump right in here because it's pretty solid opener. Also, if you pre-purchase now, you'll be able to get a free card back, the Molten Core card back. I think it looks really cool. I'm not really sure if I'm going to pre-purchase because I don't have a lot of extra money to spend, and I just kind of play this game, for fun. I don't play it like really hardcore all the time. I just play it every once in a while for fun. However, I'm thinking about live streaming this, like me playing this game on the weekends. So leave a comment below if you guys would like to see that, and I will go ahead and start live streaming it. My live stream on Twitch is ABeardedSage, short for ABeardedSage. So just go ahead and look that up, and you'll be able to find me. And if you want me to, then I will start live streaming Hearthstone on the weekends, and maybe more often than that. It's up to you guys. I'll do what you want me to do. I don't have a lot of really high level cards because I haven't dedicated any money to this game whatsoever. So I've got some decent decks. I've got two legendaries. One of them is the Murloc, and one of them old Murkeye, and the other one is Cairn Bloodstone. Is that his name? I can't remember. Cairn. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. It's looking really interesting, so look forward to this if you guys like Hearthstone. Again, let me know if you want to see me play some Hearthstone live stream, and I will. If not, then I won't waste my time. It's up to you. I'll let you guys be the deciders. But as always, this is Sage. Man, I screwed up my outro. Can you believe that? How many times have I done this outro and I fucked it up? Man, that's unbelievable. But this is Sage, and as always, peace.